things that you can see about Taizo is that his jawline wasn't symmetrical. He was a baseball player, and he damaged his jaw in some type of baseball accident. He had reconstructive surgery on his jawline. So let me see some other. I'll pull up some pictures. So yeah, I want to pull up some photographs and show you why I think that I found Taizo. So you can see here, you can see down on Taizo's jaw below his lip there.
Yep.
That there's a cleft, there's an indent there, and then there's a scar, like a circular scar that comes up to below his lip,
Yep.
right? So what that is that's from a operation, and I'm going to show you. I recovered a portion of remains. I'd recovered the right mandibular, so thankfully I've been able to compare the right mandibular that I found to Taizo here. So let's have a look with the X-rays. Okay. So these are the X-rays that I found, the X-rays that I took with the remains that I found. So if you can see here, I've marked with the red line here where the incision is in the face there, and where it lines up with the teeth. So I'll show you one more time with this picture. Okay. Where are we? So let's have a look when I superimpose the scar over the top of the teeth.
Yeah.
So you can see there when I superimpose the scar over the top of the teeth that the scarring matches where a dental surgeon would have had to open his mouth up to do that reconstructive surgery mark. So we're not 100% that it's Taizo that we found, but when we have a look at, say, here, and then we compare that with the shape of the relative shape of the jawbone, boom. So here, when we have a look at the picture here, where the below where the circular incision would have been there, the semicircular incision below there, we can see there's a hole which has been drilled in the actual jaw as a drain for this osseous that's been surgically implanted. So there's a hole there drilled. So if we have a look here, it matches with the scarring on Taizo's face. The dental surgery that we understand Taizo had matches with the specific osseous that I pulled out of the ground. So in a few years ago, we got a family reference sample from Koki Ishiyama. The Defense Intelligence Agency tested it, and the results were that it was not Koki Ishiyama that we found. So it has, through that process of elimination, we've landed on Taizo Ichinose, because he's essentially the last candidate. There's only two guys that went missing in 1973, and before that, anybody that went missing had not returned. They'd all been murdered. So there was only two people that were out, two Japanese that were out running around in 1973 after the bombing, and one was Taizo and one was Koki Ishiyama. And the reason why I side with it being Taizo is this photograph. So you'll see here, this photograph was taken in the area of Kampong Cham. This photograph was taken by Taizo Ichinose on September 11th, 1973. It's a picture of a bound and blindfolded Khmer Rouge captive being questioned by a government soldier, and a photo by Taizo Ichinose. So Taizo had been out there, and he took this photo, which was a very sympathetic photo towards the Khmer Rouge. And then he ended up getting a pass to go out into that area. Taizo was in this area taking photographs in the area where he ended up disappearing. 2 months, he'd been in there in the months leading up to it, 2 months before or 1 month before. So they went missing October 10th, and September 11th, Taizo had been out in that area taking photographs. This is in the National Archives, this photograph in the United States.
Yep.
That's where I got that photograph from, but it's good that it's been kept, that piece of history. Okay, yeah, so there's the important date. So yeah, Kampong Cham, he was in Kampong Cham. That says 14th of the 9th, right? So actually it was taken, yeah, on the 14th. Okay. So yeah, at that time there was a whole bunch of Japanese and Koreans that were missing, but these guys had been missing for a long time. We can scratch these guys off the list, right? These two Koreans went missing in 68, and other than the two Koreans that went missing in 68, we have letters from the Japanese government, the Japanese Bureau of Missing People, on the 27th of October 1973. So this is even before it was reported that Taizo and Ishiyama went missing when this document was sent. Memorandum, government of the Japan list of missing people. The government of Japan has requested the assistance of the United States delegation to obtain information about 8 Japanese men missing in Indochina. So yeah, Ichinose and Ishiyama, they were number 9 and number 10 to go missing. So these are the 8 that were missing before they went. So we've listed everybody here. Sorry, that's on the slide, but here, yeah. So essentially, there's Tomohiro Ishii and the guys who went missing in the group with Sean Flynn, and then some other Japanese that went missing in 1970. And so we can assume that all of these guys at this time, all these Japanese citizens that are on this list were dead, and the only 2 that were alive in the territories were Taizo and Koki, because Taizo and Koki went over on the 10th of October. They had not told anybody. This memorandum was sent on October the 20th, so the Japanese were unaware that they had another 2 citizens that were missing. Here we go. That's it. Well, that's it. Sorry. Instead of having to turn your head to the left or the right, John. There, yeah. So Tomohiro Ishii, he was a cameraman. He went missing in Takeo. Shojiro Kato, farmer, went missing in Phúc Long in Vietnam. And Kira Kasaka, he went missing with Sean Flynn. Kojiro Sakai, Yujiro Takagi, Yoshihiko Waku, Takaishi Yanagisawa, Yoshihiko Urino. So these are all the guys these are the Japanese citizens that were killed in 1970 in Cambodia or went missing. There was never any sign of them. I think some of them were found, but their bodies had been satellite after they'd been killed. Yeah, so this is just the Japanese trying to find out more information on what happened to their people, but as per usual, they've just hit a wall again. They're always hitting a wall. So, yeah. So it's always the same about these guys getting captured and taken along, Japanese mail. So, yeah, here's a list of the people that went missing. So you can see in 1972, we had Australians, Americans, Cambodians went missing. Taizo went missing in 73. So yeah, Taizo and Koki are carried as going missing at different times, but they both went missing at the same time. They went missing together. So they were working as a team when they went missing. So like kind of in the way that Sean and Dana were working as a team.
Right.
Taizo photography. So yeah, I'm really sorry about this background noise. It's insane, but trying to keep trying to keep focused, but I've been able to do it so far. So let's have a look a little bit more about the movement of these guys, and then we're going to get to the nitty gritty of it. So yeah, this is a document that I found, and it's just talking about the movement of these guys between these different villages. And so another list of missing people. So a group of journalists were captured and disappeared east in Chipu. These journalists were captured 6 kilometers near Chipu. So it says all the guys that were missing. So they know that there was journalists moved. Journalists were moved through Chantria village, Kampong, Kosang village, Romi Hek, Orengo, Trapang Rasai, and then they ended up down the bottom in Tabum Kabum district, Kampong Chump. So Tabum Kabum district is where the prison that we're talking about and the hospital location was. So it says here that, here we go. So late 1971, this is talking about Hang Peng. 71, Khmer communists killed an American in the village hospital, region 203, located in Pakadong, Kruchma district. The foreigner was pale, had a long, thin beard. They were told that he had malaria. Tarpim, the secretary of Region 203, ordered the medical practitioner to give an injection of 3 tubes of Largactil to put him to death. No one knew this other than Hang Peng, a health official, the medical practitioner, and some other high-ranking officials. Following the injection, the patient fell unconscious and was immediately buried near the hospital. The source knows the place where he was buried, but did not know the exact grave, because there were so many graves. After the corpse was buried, Tarpim said that the American was a journalist, but he did not mention his name or the reason for him being killed. According to the photos of foreigners disappeared in Cambodia, Hang Peng revealed that he thought the foreigner looked like Sean Flynn. So this is why I was looking for Sean Flynn out there.
Yeah, that's what led you there. Yep.
So an English-speaking journalist was detained in Department of Region 25, located in Svetamek, and the detention took place approximately June 70 to March 74 in front of the Ambil market to the eastern side of the Basak River, possibly in Rockhaw village. In late 1972, an unknown cadre living in the East region said that he had led combatants to fight in the Hirsur battlefield, and that he had arrested 2 journalists of unknown nationalities because they were there to take photos. They were then sent to the regional village authorities in Region 203. So they were sent to Pakadong. So now I'm going to read a document which goes into my operation in Pakadong. Okay. Yeah. So here, first-hand information just outside Pakadong. Mr. Duk Chan outlined his participation in the burial of the Westerner about throwing the rocks. Yeah, we did that before. So we've seen this one. Where are we? Okay. So executive summary. Okay. Details regarding partially excavated burial site in Pakadong. On April the 5th, 2010, source led reporting officer to the burial site in Pakadong village, Kampong Cham. The site had been partially excavated on 14th of March 2010 by David MacMillan, an Australian citizen acting on behalf of family members of reference number 1588. The burial site is situated in a 20 by 20 metre area surrounded by rice fields approximately 1 kilometre east of Pakadong village. Source pointed out the spot where the skull fragments and teeth had been located. Source said skull bones and teeth were found in less than 2 meters of soil just north of the buried rocks that were used to stone the victim. Source estimated that the remaining lower body bones would be located directly to the south of where the skull was recovered. Source later led reporting officer to observe the site of the former Buddhist shrine that had been dismantled by the Khmer Rouge around 1970. The former shrine was located in a rice field across the village road, 60 meters to the northwest of the burial site. 100 centimeter by 60 centimeter laterite rock from the temple still rests on the ground. Source stated that the smaller rocks from the temple, which were used to stone the victim, were found in the gravesite. So you'll see. Now I'm going to show you. This is where I found the remains of who I think is Taizo. So you can see there, John. So yeah, it's right beside the road and the rice fields. He was thrown face first into a grave, and then he was stoned to death. So this is, I have not prepared this sketch. The US military prepared this sketch to explain my excavation to their investigators. Yeah, so several other children and Mr. Chun threw rocks at the victim to bury him. Mr. Chun led them to the burial site. He also led me to the burial site. And the end result for me was the remains that I found. So let me see. Teeth. These are the teeth that I found. You can see that there's it's pretty considerable from an evidentiary perspective to be able to pull this type of stuff out of the ground on an MIA case, isn't it, John?
Oh, it definitely is.
So you can see there. That's some complicated dental work for the time.
Most definitely.
So yeah, you can see that there's been surgery done. They had to cut into his face to be able to implant the osseous. Here's another angle of it. So you can see here, just below, you can't really see it clearly, but there's a drill hole through one side of the jaw to the other from the back side. You can see it. There was a drill hole below the teeth there for the drain. So when we have a look at pictures of Taizo's face, let's see. It's Taizo there in good times, drinking a beer in his tiger-striped camouflage.
Looks pretty
If you want to
happy.
be drinking a beer in Vietnam, you want to be doing it in tiger-striped camouflage with your bar beer shirt on.
Yeah.
I reckon he seems like he was a bit of a character, a bit of a legend, Taizo. So yeah, this is him. This is him with some southern Vietnamese troops up the top. You can see with his teeth too. He had his upper teeth were like were synthetic material too. You can see it when he's smiling. His teeth look like, they look synthetic. But yeah, there's a couple of pictures of Taizo. He was only 26 years old when he went missing. That's a sad thing about it. They say that he's 21. The reason why they say he's 21 is because he looks so bloody young.
Yeah, Asian.
Yeah, so that's him. See, this is him cruising around. So you can assume that this is probably what he looked like when he went missing out there, because they said that he had his boots on, right? So combat boots, and yeah, see, he even had combat boots on there, but he had long trousers on to hide the top of the combat boots, the camera. So when you look at pictures of him.
Lose you there, Dave? And looks like Dave froze up there. You with me, Dave? It looks like I'm still on here. Anyway, there's a close-up of Taizo's face. Hopefully Dave joins us again here. All right. Well, it looks like we lost Dave here, but so what we'll do, we've been going for an hour and 8 minutes here. We'll go ahead and lost him there. He's gonna pop back in probably here in a second.